Okay, Dan. Um, so here's the ball. Um, this is just a magnet ball from I think I got it from Learberg. It's a larger foam ball. Um, just like those yellow foam balls, except it's orange. And they have a magnet sewn onto the rope. I mean, it's nothing high tech. Um, and then the magnets, you can see, I have them just placed on the back of my pants pocket here. Um, so uh, the reason I like um, using it this way is I can put that wherever I want. If you have a new dog that you're starting out and they still need like a little visual picture, then you could put it under your arm, just like that other video. Um, so, um, but when the dog understands that, you start to fade that visual cue of the ball, you can put it wherever you want. I like keeping it back here. Um, And the good thing is the magnet, you can do that no matter what you're wearing. As long as you have pants on, which I don't do too much training without pants. Um, summertime, wintertime, I can put it on the back of my coat. So if I don't want it on my pants, I can just put it on the back of my coat. Obviously, if I'm outside or whatever and it's really cold, um, that's the good thing about it. The only thing is, dog needs to understand marker words. They have to understand that. Um, and I teach my dog different markers for different rewards. Indirect reward, uh, direct reward, and a clicker. So the clicker is exclusively food. That's a terminal marker for food. It is only for food. When he hears the click, he knows he's getting food, either coming from my hand, or I might take it and throw it on the ground or something like that. If I want them to hunt a little bit, I'll scatter it a little, make them hunt a little bit for it. The direct reward, such as the ball or a tug, whatever it is that you want to use. I have a magnet tug too. Um, they have to understand markers. The reason I like doing this is because your timing is critical. And you can't fuck up your marker words, which almost everybody does. They think their dog understands marker words, and they don't. What the dog is understanding as the marker is the movement of their hands. Reaching into a pocket, reaching in their vest, reaching whatever, or simply holding the ball. It could be a whole host of things. When people say, and I ask them, I'm like, "Your dog understand markers?" Oh, he knows markers 100%. I'm like, great. Put your hands on top of your head and keep them on top of your head, and do not move your hands. I say, now call your dog, put him in something that, a position or whatever that you want to mark with a terminal marker. I said, and let me see what happens. No, most people use the yes as a terminal marker. I don't prefer the word yes because it can be very emotional. If your dog's really good and he does something good, you're really excited, it's yes, if I'm pissed off or I'm not feeling good or I'm aggravated and I'm just like, yes, way too emotional. I use the word chip, CHIP, um, and and I use that because it's a very difficult word to be emotional with. I mean, you can try it yourself. It doesn't matter whether you're excited, pissed off, whatever. It's a very hard word to be emotional with. It typically sounds the same all the time, and that's why I like using that. Um, so that's what I use as a direct marker for a direct reward, being the toy, and then an indirect reward, toy or whatever, tug, ball, whatever, on the ground. Like I have his tug laying over there on the ground over there. I just use the word fetch. And so he knows if I release him with that word, his toy is somewhere on the ground. And you can channel between all three of them. And he will understand that it's not that hard. Yeah, they'll make a mistake now and then. I mean, he does too. I just stop it and correct him and redo it again. And when I say correct him, I mean, I don't like get on him. Just simply a no. It's like, no, you fucked that up, and we just redo it again. Um, so um, when they understand that, like I said, I tell people all the time, put your hands on your head and use your marker word. And they do it, and the dog just sits there and looks at them. It's like, what? They have no idea what that means. The minute they move their hand, dog immediately breaks and looks for their toy or whatever it is that they were going to reward them with. It happens 99% of the time. This eliminates that from happening because you got to really practice that. Like, I got pretty good with it, but in the beginning, I was fucking it up all the time. But you really have to concentrate that mark, then reach for the food. And for the food, obviously, you have to reach for that. I mean, you're not going to just have the food laying there. So you have to really concentrate, click, then move for your food. With this, it eliminates that whole problem. Just as long as the timing of your marker is correct. Obviously, you want to mark what it is you want to mark. But as soon as you mark, it's terminal. He can break out of that position and he gets the reward himself. I mean, he knows the reward is there. I mean, their dogs aren't stupid. They know it's friggin' sitting there. But every once in a while, I may take it and hide it, put it inside my jacket or inside my pocket or something like that. Do they still know it's there? Yeah, they do. Again, they're not dumb. So it kind of takes the human error out of that, movement of your hands, things like that. The magnets on these magnets are not the magnets that came with the ball. These magnets are actually from another magnet ball that I had. These magnets are crazy strong. I mean, they're like ridiculously strong. Like, don't get your fingers caught in between them because it'll hurt and it'll be hard to pry them apart. Just like I'll forget and leave them on there and like get out of my car and like turn my back to my car and it'll suck me back onto the car. Or like Home Depot, that's the worst because they got all those metal shelves and everything. So, I turn around and next thing you know, I'm sucked onto a shelf. But it's good because I don't have to worry about this falling off. I mean, I can run, I can move, I can do whatever, and it's not coming off. Sometimes until the dog kind of gets the feel for it, sometimes they're like, hey, I can't get this ball off, and until they understand they got to put a little ass into it to get it off. But essentially, this is just what it looks like. Heel. Chip. Atta boy. Come here. Out. So there's a perfect example of him fucking that up. Exactly what I said that would happen sometimes. He took the indirect reward instead of taking the ball. So I'm glad that happened because you can see that will happen. And it's no big deal. I don't get on him hard for it or anything. Back to place. I'll just do it again and try to keep an eye, make sure he doesn't do it again. Heel. Chip. Atta boy. Good. Atta boy. Come here, bud. And what happens with that too is why that. Come here, bud. Come down. The reason that probably happened, which is a good thing to proof and actually practice, is they'll favor one toy over another. I mean, that's nothing new. I mean, you know that. He prefers that tug. So, that's why he's kind of like eyeballing it too. Had I used two of exactly the same balls, he probably wouldn't have made that mistake and he wouldn't have done it because there wouldn't have been that conflict. But here, he chose that one because there was a little bit of conflict there, and he was like, I like that that tug better. Front. Break. Ah, boy. Good. Out. And you can do heel. And the thing is you can do this. I mean, statically, walking, running, whatever. Heel. Heel. Chip. Go boy. Come here, bud. Come. Oh boy. Come here, buddy. That's my boy. Yeah. Out. Down. Heel. Heel. Oh boy. And the other thing is too, I always want the dog to drop behind me to get the ball. I don't want him going out in front of me and getting the ball. You know, these dogs tend to forage anyway. So I always have them drop back and get the ball. They have to do it that way. Now, you're probably saying, well, you know, doesn't that then encourage the dog to lag? It doesn't. Why? I can't even begin to explain to you. It's just for some reason they won't lag, but they will almost always start to forage. They'll start to forage ahead, just in anticipation of getting the ball, and if they're going in front of you. So they're taught always to go behind me. And I initially didn't teach that. So what I did to change that behavior, the easiest thing I found was I just stand with my chest against the wall. So he can't go in front of me. You know, call him into a heel position, mark it, and you'll see they'll be trying to go in front of you and they can't. And then he'll go behind. I do that a couple dozen times, and he never went in front of me ever again. You know, and it just conditioned. Started to learn to come behind me. That was the easiest way to do it. If you teach it right from the beginning, or I shouldn't say right, there's really no right or wrong. It's just if you teach that method right out of the gate, then you don't have to worry about it. But I still think chest against the wall is the easiest way to do it because you're eliminating him from the option. You know, he doesn't have the option of making the mistake. You know, if he wants the ball, he's like, all right, I have no choice. I got to go behind you. Come here, bud. Come. Go. Oh, boy. Good. Out. Good. Out. Heel. Heel. Now we'll see if I can make him make the same mistake again, because now he's had a chance to play with the tug. Chip. Attaboy. Good. Attaboy. So he did it right that time. But I'm glad he fucked that up first, because you can actually see what happened. And like I said, the reason that happened, I'm sure, was because he's just favoring one toy over the other, which is perfectly normal. I like conflict training, you know, just like with a food. You know, if that's really got him, you know, if he hears the click, you know, he knows he's getting food, there may be some confusion. You know, if he hears the click or he doesn't hear the click, he may break or release from behavior. And instead of taking a toy, he may be sitting there saying, hey, you know, where's my food? So it's nothing earth shattering. I actually like it when they make mistakes, because it's the only way of fixing anything. If they don't make a mistake, you can't fix it. Out. Place. You know, even with that, like, you could see the anticipation when I sent him to place. He looked at the tug and he started to go over towards it, and then he was like, you know, and then he veered off and got on a place. You know, these fuckers are too smart for their own good. But if they think and they make the right decision. And that's good. He thought about it and he was like, I got to go over to place. Um, so that gives you just like a little idea of I know I kind of got maybe a little off track here. But that's the whole concept of the magnet ball and why I like it. And like I said, I have a tug that I could do the same thing with that he values even more. Different than that tug. But he values that like way more than the ball. Because he can like really, it's almost, it's one of those round barrel tugs. So it's almost like biting a suit. So he can like really satisfy himself on that. Because he can dig into it and keep gripping, and it's made of suit material, so it's almost as satisfying without a decoy. Actually, without him actually biting a decoy. So that really just gives you a little idea. Take a look, see what you think.